I'm going to show you something that I've never done before. I had a family friend who reached out and asked if I could fuse her mom's ashes into a pendant, and I said that I would be willing to try, that I hadn't done it before, but had done some reading on it and had found some technique online through fused glass groups, and thought that I would like to try it, but I certainly wanted to honor her and her mother and not necessarily make her the experiment. But the family friend said no, that she had seen some online artists doing this and would really love it if I could do it for her, and was willing to allow me to try. So what we did was we worked out a few prototypes. Her criteria: she wanted something very small, she wanted something very neutral, so we went with a French vanilla frit that I cast into a mold, then a piece of clear glass with an irid coating that I cut and put into the mold irid side down, so that there would be a little bit of shimmer in the piece. And so I'm showing this to you, just a few things, tell you kind of how I went about doing it, which was to, I read online to sift the material first. So she brought me a fair amount of ashes, although you just need the tiniest bit. I did sift that to get the larger fragments out, because this can gas quite a bit, is what I've read, and create lots of bubbles. So I took care of that by sifting the material, and then I pre-fused it in my QuikFire kiln up to about 1500 degrees and held it for about 10 minutes, hoping that it would kind of gas off first. Now my concern was that the weight of the ashes, they're actually kind of heavy, and my concern was that if I used frit in a mold, that they would kind of sink to the bottom. So what I did was I pre-fired, just to basically attack fuse, the French vanilla frit alone as a base in my mold. So you can see a picture of my mold. Then you can see how I put a layer of, 1.5 layer or so of medium-sized French vanilla frit in the bottom, and then tack fused that so that it remained the texture, but I got a little puck out of it, if you will. Then I carefully sprinkled ash into the middle and made sure to keep it away from the edges, because I was afraid that the ash would not seal. And then capped it with the little bit of clear irid side down, and just a little bit of other clear frit to kind of fill in around the edges. And so this is the result. I'm not sure that you're going to be able to see all of that sparkle, but that irid did pick up a fair amount of sparkle here. So you've got the French vanilla pendant. The irid actually gave the ashes almost a gold appearance, or gold flake, really. So in the end, our friend is delighted with this. I'm very honored that I was able to do it for her. I did learn some lessons along the way, so even though I had pre-fused the frit, it didn't fully, there was still a little bit that didn't, of ash that made its way through a hole or two to the back. So I ended up sealing the back with clear nail polish, actually. And then there are just a few bubbles, so I think pre-firing the ash material was the right way to go. I think the bubbles that you see are actually just from the, not from the ashes, but rather from just the glass and the different pieces of frit kind of trapping some air. I did run a full fuse bubble squeeze on this. I'll share that schedule. I'll also share the schedule that I used to tack fuse the French vanilla first. So that's it. In the end, I'm really honored that she asked me to do this for her. I was pleased with the effect that we got with the French vanilla and with the clear irid glass.